one of my guiding principles when I try to teach students and also when I lecture like this is what Kurt Lewin said. He's an old researcher from the 50s. He said, "There's nothing as practical as a good theory. Nothing as practical as a good theory." And I love that saying, because we find good theories about things, that is good models about how things work, for instance, how creativity works, then we can use those models in order to enhance our own creativity. So today's topic is innovation, and I'll tell you and teach you how creativity ties into innovation and how you should structure innovation and the role of culture in innovation. So this actually, the whole theme of this speech now for 1 hour is going to be innovation and how to do it in practice. And I'll show you how creativity ties into this in a very nice manner. So speaking of innovation, what is innovation? What are we after here? I think one of the best ways of explaining what innovation actually is, because there's a considerable amount of confusion around innovation in itself, is actually what Schumpeter himself coined. This is the man who coined this word, innovation, in the 30s. And he said that innovation enables companies to create so-called temporary monopolies. Temporary monopolies. And what he meant with that is that it costs money to invent something, to research something. You have to come up with whole new technologies, for instance. And when you release the product to the market, companies can take a price premium because they are the first with this particular product. And then they have created for themselves a temporary monopoly. So when, for instance, Apple, when they released their first smartphone, this was 2007, they had 2 years of uninterrupted competition until HTC released their smartphone. So they had created a temporary monopoly for themselves. So that's what innovation is all about. It's about, of course, solving the customer's problems, but doing that in a way that we as a company is the #1 choice for customers. And when we are the #1 choice, then customers will actually be prepared to pay a bit more for our services. And that price premium will get us to earn back what it cost us to develop that product from the first place. So that's what he meant with temporary monopolies. And then Michael Porter, very classic Harvard business strategist, he took this thought a bit further, and he said that, well, you can create these kind of temporary monopolies in different domains. You can be the best, you can be the cheapest brand. Then you have something called cost leadership. And an example in that is, of course, Ryanair, I think, is a good example. You can also have the best product. Spotify has the best product when it comes to solving people's needs for music listening, right? So they have a unique and very well put together product. And then we can, so you see it, this is a four-fielder. I don't know the English word for it. In Swedish, it's fyrfältare, but in English, I don't really know. So Spotify, obviously, they target everyone, but you can also target a specific group, which Harley Davidson does with their motorcycles, and they, according to this group, they have the best motorcycles, and it's a particular group. And maybe Tesla is somewhere in between here. They started out with a more premium product, but now they're trying to target a more general audience with their products. So you can place yourself here along this continuum, but remember, it's the temporary monopoly that's the core, actually the object of innovation in the first place. So we're going to look at 4 pillars for being innovative, and we're going to first look at creative skills. How is creativity brought to life? What is creativity? How do you think more creative and things like this? Then we need to guide our creativity. So therefore we need scope and direction. And that's the next pillar. Then we actually need to build some structure around all this, some scaffolding, so that this can be managed in a more continuous way, in a structured way. And then we need to have a culture that supports people in their creativity and makes them willing to take risks, for instance, and willing to fail with their ideas and things like this. So I think these 4 pillars are the 4 most important pillars. And I can teach about this all day. I have courses at the university, so you'll now have a 1 hour crash course into the field of innovation management.